Every system, whether biological or organizational, eventually reaches an operational threshold where its current framework cannot support the next phase of its evolution. This isn't a state of collapse, it is a signal of imminent upgrade. Such a shift feels less like chaos and more like a profound, coordinated acceleration. This is the clear indication that an individual is approaching a breakthrough of an entirely new magnitude. If these words resonate with you at this specific juncture, it is because you are positioned on the precipice of a significant transformation. A fundamental victory is close at hand. The external world, in turn, is beginning to mirror this internal certainty with increasing frequency. The common misconception is that a major life advancement will announce itself with the fanfare of a lottery win, complete with overt signals and external validation. However, this is a fundamental misreading of how profound change materializes. True progress accumulates silently through a sequence of incremental adjustments that are often imperceptible to the untrained eye. Many anticipate the earthquake while failing to notice the subtle tectonic shifts that precede it. They await the public declaration, entirely missing the change in energetic resonance that occurs just before all elements lock into their new, more effective positions. A crucial insight often overlooked is that the indicators of an impending success rarely manifest in conventional ways. These signals do not typically arrive as formal job offers or sudden, laudatory emails from superiors. Instead, they appear in the most unexpected arenas. The most powerful evidence emerges in the novel way you begin to react to the very circumstances that once consistently unsettled you. This is observable in the newfound ease within dialogues with influential individuals. It is present in how challenges that appeared insurmountable weeks ago now reveal straightforward paths to resolution. It's in the depth of your rest and the sharp focus that greets you upon waking, and in the palpable shift in your presence as you enter a room. It is likely you are now making superior decisions almost unconsciously, opting for the complex, long-term project over the easy win, or seeking out constructive debates over superficial pleasantries. This isn't the result of external advice or a rigid self-help regimen. It stems from a fundamental internal recalibration that has occurred within you. Your foundational operating system has been rewritten with a new prime directive. You are now executing this new code instinctively, without debating the validity of its logic. Such a profound recalibration is not a universal experience. The majority of individuals remain enclosed within their established behavioral loops, repeating the same decisions and achieving identical outcomes for years on end. However, on the cusp of a significant victory, your entire internal apparatus initiates a self-directed upgrade. Your baseline for acceptable outcomes elevates without conscious effort. Your capacity for tolerating inefficiency diminishes to nothing. Your acuity in identifying strategic openings becomes exceptionally sharp, as if you've been equipped with a new suite of sensors, allowing you to perceive dimensions of opportunity that were utterly undetectable by your former self. Reflect on the past several months. Is there not a tangible difference in your execution? A greater sense of precision, a sharper focus, and an increased willingness to act on your intuitive data, even when it contradicts conventional wisdom. Have you not found yourself declining opportunities that you previously would have accepted without hesitation? Have you not observed that you are attracting a higher caliber of professional collaborations, more substantive conversations, and a different quality of energy from those in your orbit? This is not personal development in the conventional sense. This is conditioning. Your entire being is conditioning itself for the next operational level. Your mind is purging obsolete mental models that lack utility for what is to come. Your emotional state is stabilizing to ensure you can manage greater success without succumbing to self-sabotage. Your intuition is being honed so you can navigate complex variables with accuracy instead of indecision. Your energetic output is shifting to match the requirements of the reality you are about to inhabit. Yet, this is the precise point where many falter. They perceive this internal evolution and interpret it as a threat. They mistake the unfamiliarity for instability, assuming something is wrong. They feel nostalgia for their previous self, even if that version was stagnant and limited, because it represented a known quantity. They begin to overanalyze every choice, dispute every instinct, and attempt a retreat to what felt secure, even though that security was a form of slow stagnation. If this describes your current state, if you feel you are becoming someone you do not yet fully recognize, do not resist the process. Do not attempt to revert to a previous version. That sense of unfamiliarity is not an alarm bell. It is a marker of progress. It signifies that you have exceeded the capacity of your old identity. It means you are expanding to become the individual who can manage the responsibilities of the next stage. It means the old version of you, the one incapable of reaching the next threshold, is making way for the self that can not only break through, but also thrive in the new environment. The universe employs an interesting method for testing readiness immediately prior to a major advancement. The test is not one of hardship or new obstacles, but of velocity. The pace of events quickens. Opportunities begin to compound. The weight of each decision increases. The stakes are elevated. Those who are unprepared become overwhelmed by this new speed and withdraw. But those who are truly ready, they integrate with the new velocity. They rely on their training. They make decisions with speed and iterate based on real-time feedback. They no longer wait for the complete data set that will never arrive. You have been in training for this exact moment for far longer than you acknowledge. Every adversity you navigated, every instance you chose persistence when surrender was the easier path, every moment you trusted your own judgment against a tide of external doubt, all of it was building your capacity for what is now materializing. Not your capacity for success in its simplest form, but your capacity for success at its most intense, when it arrives rapidly and demands you operate at a performance level you have never before sustained. This is why the sequence of events is so critical. This is why this victory was not possible for you a year ago, regardless of your desire. You were not yet equipped for the intensity. You were not conditioned for the velocity. You had not yet developed the internal architecture required to hold that level of energy, that degree of responsibility, that much influence without it fracturing you from within. But something has fundamentally shifted. You can sense it in the way you navigate your world. There is a core stability that was previously absent, a form of self-assurance that requires no external ratification, and a certainty that operates deeper than mere optimism or belief. You are no longer simply hoping for a favorable outcome. You are no longer just believing it is possible. You know it is inevitable because you have systematically become the type of person for whom such outcomes are the logical result. The evidence is ubiquitous once you understand the new parameters. People are interacting with you on different terms now. This is not limited to your close circle, but extends to strangers. Service professionals make direct eye contact for longer. Negotiations with partners flow with less friction. Colleagues now solicit your perspective on matters they previously handled alone. There is a quality in your presence today that did not exist 6 months ago, something that causes others to feel more focused simply by being in proximity to you. That is not a charismatic trick learned from a manual. That is the energetic footprint of someone whose internal world has been fundamentally re-engineered for high performance. Examine your stress response now versus a year ago. The external demands may be the same, but the internal reaction is entirely different. Where you once fell into a cycle of anxiety, you now pause and assess. Where you once reacted impulsively, you now respond strategically. Where you once felt crushed by pressure, you now feel a sense of productive tension that fuels you. This is not because your environment has become easier. It is because you have developed the emotional and psychological infrastructure to process high-stakes information without system failure. Your relationship with time has also been reconfigured. You are no longer in a constant state of deficit. The feeling of being perpetually behind schedule has vanished. This is not because your workload has decreased, but because you are functioning with a superior form of efficiency. You execute decisions more rapidly. You expend less energy on low-yield activities. You direct your focus with surgical precision onto the tasks that create meaningful leverage. Time is no longer an adversary. It has become your most valuable asset. However, the element that most clearly reveals your proximity to a breakthrough is the transformation of your problems. Your challenges have not vanished. They have been upgraded. The issues you now face are higher quality problems. Instead of battling for basic survival, you are now designing for scale and growth. Instead of constantly repairing foundational flaws, you are now optimizing systems that are already functional. Instead of trying to gain initial access, you are now deciding which of multiple entry points is the most strategic. This elevation in your problem set is not a coincidence. It is definitive proof that you have graduated from one level of operation to the next. You cannot have $100,000 problems until you have developed the capacity to solve them. You cannot navigate multifaceted opportunities until you have demonstrated mastery over simpler ones. Your current challenges are a direct reflection of your expanded capabilities. The composition of your inner circle is also transforming. Certain relationships are concluding organically, while others are intensifying in surprising ways. You are not actively trying to network or strategically build a contact list. You are simply gravitating towards individuals who operate at your new frequency, while a natural distance forms from energy that feels dissonant or unproductive. This is not a conscious purge. This is magnetic realignment. You have likely observed a shift in your conversations. There is less analysis of past grievances, less unproductive speculation, less discussion of problems without a focus on solutions. Instead, there is more dialogue about future architecture, more strategic planning, more exploration of possibilities instead of a reinforcement of limitations. You are not forcing this change. These conversations are emerging naturally because they are an extension of your own internal state. Your mind has become a conduit for more sophisticated thought patterns. Your physical environment is reorganizing to reflect your internal transformation. You find yourself structuring your workspace differently, being drawn to a different aesthetic, and curating objects that provide utility and inspiration rather than simply occupying volume. You are prioritizing quality over quantity, acquiring fewer but more significant assets. Your external world is unconsciously restructuring itself to provide a better platform for the person you are becoming. Even your sleep has altered. You are either experiencing deeper, more restorative rest than you have in years, or your dreams are more structured and informative. Sometimes you require less sleep, but awaken with greater mental acuity. Your subconscious is providing you with simulations of realities that feel more tangible than your waking life. It is processing the shift, integrating new data, and preparing your entire nervous system for a higher baseline of operation. The flow of money is also changing. This does not necessarily mean a greater quantity of money yet, but different kinds of financial discussions, new types of opportunities appearing, and a fundamental shift in how you perceive value and exchange. You can now identify revenue models and pathways that were completely opaque to you before. Your core relationship with prosperity is being repaired at a foundational level. Perhaps the most definitive sign that you are on the verge of victory is your revised attitude toward uncertainty. Where unpredictability once provoked anxiety, it now inspires a sense of engagement. You have cultivated such a deep trust in your capacity to navigate any variable that you now prefer an open field of play to a predictable path. You understand that your greatest advantages are concealed in the spaces you cannot yet see. This comfort with ambiguity is exceedingly rare. Most people require a guarantee of success before they will commit to action. They demand to see the entire path laid out before they will take a single step. But individuals who are about to achieve a breakthrough have developed something far more potent than certainty. They have developed certainty in their own adaptability. They know their preparation has been sufficient to handle whatever contingencies arise. I will end with a small, practical exercise. If you have followed this logic to its conclusion and felt a sense of internal confirmation, anchor that state. Post a comment below, starting with the phrase, "My paradigm has shifted from," to fill in the blanks with your own personal realization. Let this be not merely a comment for others, but a written declaration to yourself, the point from which a new trajectory begins. The final indicator that victory is not just possible, but imminent is the most subtle. You are no longer fixated on the concept of winning. You are not obsessively monitoring outcomes or demanding constant progress reports. You are simply engaged in the work because the work itself has become the primary source of satisfaction. You are participating in the game because you have developed a love for the game itself, not because you are desperate for the final score. This migration from an outcome orientation to a process orientation is the ultimate sign that you have reached the state where success becomes the natural byproduct of your new identity. If you have reached this point, if these ideas landed with the weight of diagnosis rather than of distant hope, then you already perceive the truth of the matter. Your moment is no longer approaching. It is the present condition. The question is no longer whether you are capable of winning. The question is whether you are ready to fully receive the results of all your preparation. Your breakthrough is simply waiting for you to claim it.